Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Artsy. We are breaking down episode 8 of What If, and all I can tell you guys right now is it is the episode we've been waiting for. All the theories, the rumors, and speculation culminate in this episode. It was captivating, interesting, and is exactly the kind of continuation I was hoping to see in this series. So let's get started.
And ponder the question. What if?
Before we hop right into this review and break down this episode, tell me so far what has been your favorite character in the What If series. I have one that it's clearly stood out to me just after this episode, but I want to hear yours as well, so leave that in the comments below. Also, let me know if you liked this episode. If you watched last week's video, we nailed it. We nailed it, folks. Film Artsy audience, congratulations. We have sleuthed together what we hypothesized pretty early on here in the series that there would be eventually some kind of continuation. And furthermore, when we did get to see Ultron with the Infinity Stones, my theory was the way that this was going to break down is because he's going to become so aware that it might force the Watcher's hand, and this episode shows us exactly what would have happened if that indeed happened. So this episode kicks off with the reality of what if Ultron won. It starts with the Watcher watching a universe where Ultron did become Vision in that synthetic body, so that situation where Tony felt so convicted to put a shield of armor around the world, instead of them stopping and creating Vision and Ultron not ultimately getting that body, Ultron gets that body, and in doing so nukes the entire planet. But this was the question that I inherently had with Ultron when the movie came out, and although you never get to see it come to fruition, it's really interesting to explore. Ultron's hunger for this really sick view of peace and disease would not probably stop with humanity, as it would continue. And you see this come to fruition in this episode. The one thing I didn't love here is the way that this comes to fruition is Thanos shows up on Earth in search of that Mind Stone, and Vision straight up cuts Thanos in half. And it's kind of humorous. I think it lessened Thanos' ability with the gauntlet at that point, because even though Vision was good, he really couldn't keep up a fight with him, and so Ultron could. I'll let that be, because clearly this episode probably didn't have too much time to have a Thanos-Ultron battle. Ultron gathers all the Infinity Stones like that because Thanos did pretty much all his work for him, and he decides, hey, why stop with just this planet? I will destroy all planets all throughout this universe and give them the same sovereign grace that I have given to Earth, the peace that people can have. And so Ultron goes onto this immense universal tear. I mean, he goes to Nova Corps, he goes to Asgard, he goes to every, Shakara, Ego, all the planets we've seen in the MCU, he goes there and destroys them. He is the big rock, and he is using that strategy for all things. So it's one thing I was kind of hoping to see was a big rock come back to play, but maybe his plan changed when he could just get the nuclear codes and he didn't need a giant Sokovian rock, which is probably what happened. We see it fully Infinity Stone Ultron, which proves to be a pretty big issue because Vision at that time was communicated to be very strong, and I couldn't imagine him with the consciousness of Ultron, and now equipped with Infinity Stones leads to a pretty amazing bout of power. Essentially, Ultron completes its goal here, destroys about everything you can destroy in the universe, and he found himself to be a program without purpose. Although there was lingering parts throughout the universe, the only thing that was left was nothing. He had completed his mission, and it was deeply unsatisfying. But as Ultron continued on with his Infinity Gauntlet itself, he became aware of the Watcher. And this is where I felt like would push the Watcher to get to a situation where he might have to break his rule. Because Ultron becomes aware of the multiverse, and he has an insatiable hunger to bring this cleansing peace to not just his universe. He's like, what if I could bring it to all universes? On the remnants of Earth, we have Black Widow and Hawkeye, who had survived the nuclear blast that devastated their land, and they are trying to get Zola. Zola is the computer program, you know, the little dude in the first Captain America movie, and then Captain America Winter Soldier, you see that program there. And they believe that he can actually eradicate Ultron's programming. I don't know why they think this, but it's, you know, when everything else is blown up, hey, you gotta go for anything, right? So they find the program, they upload that program to an Ultron bot, but it doesn't work because Ultron is out of the multiverse. He's not in their universe, thus the signal doesn't work, and they lose Clint along the way. The Watcher and Ultron meet, and the Watcher is confused because no one has really been able to interact with him at this point, except for Supreme Sorcerer Doctor Strange, I guess. And the Watcher and Ultron have an amazing battle. I mean, one of the coolest battles I've seen in the series so far, and in the MCU in general. They're breaking through dimensions and universes. There's this moment where Ultron literally pulls a Galactus and eats a universe to try to kill the Watcher. And quite frankly, we see the strength of Ultron as well, and he has really got the Watcher on the ropes. The Watcher, even with his battle-ready armor and all his power, doesn't seem to be too much of a match for Ultron, and he's concerned that Ultron, now being aware of the multiverse, he's going to destroy it all, thus bring the Watcher to the brink and leave us with our episode cliffhanger that he is going to break his code, and he is going indeed to intervene because Ultron is also breaking the rules of the Watcher and is going to intervene. And it leaves us with the Watcher meeting out with the Supreme Sorcerer Doctor Strange that we left in episode 4, my favorite episode of What If so far. And he is clearly about to break his rule and elicit the help of others to stop this impending threat. Which brings us to the Guardians of the Multiverse, which is kind of where we thought this might be going. There's a lot of marketing towards that way. The question is more who they're going to bring. It seems like they probably will bring every person we've seen in episodes so far, leading up to an ultimate battle with Ultron. All that being said, this episode was exciting, thrilling. It brought in a really interesting component of what happens when Ultron would have been fully Infinity Stone Gauntlet creature being. And clearly it's a problem. He's massively powerful and it feels that way. I don't think this will lessen MCU villains in the future because I have this thought of like, well, if that's him, it seems like there wouldn't be much more bad than that. But I also get that this is a kind of different flavor. This is a What If series, an animated series, so kind of lessens that. I enjoyed this episode because this is what would have happened if Ultron did indeed get all that power. And it does bring continuity to other episodes, and I'm looking forward to seeing that because they've established some really interesting things, but they don't overlap. Now granted, I do think this insinuates that we are not going to get much of a next season of the What If series. I mean, we could, but when you break the multiverse and have the Watcher break his rule, well, it's not going to be very interesting if it goes right back to it being that way. All that being said, I like this. I like where it's going. I look forward to seeing the final episode next week. And I think this was a really strong episode with some of their other ones like the zombies and Doctor Strange episode. I'm a little bothered by that last episode, still feels like a throwaway. But ultimately, all these things leading up to, we're going to have an epic clash of multiverse proportions against Ultron. Like I said at the beginning of this video, my favorite character from What If is probably still Doctor Strange, the Supreme Sorcerer, but I really like an Infinity Gauntlet powered Ultron. It's a very cool concept, and he has like this like medieval style armor that he's using. It's pretty cool, and I actually like that a lot. I like villains though, so that's my problem. If you like this video and you want to see more, you want to subscribe, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, hey, and leave a comment below. It actually really helps us here if you do so. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.